Jones's Vengeance by Antonio Cardona. In the cold, foggy, and dark streets of London, a man is walking down the road. This man is just taking his nightly walk, enjoying the nighttime while smoking a cigarette. The man is tall, lean, and is wearing all black. He also has somewhat long hair, black hair, dark eyes, and fair-toned skin. And this man's face always seems to have something dark and moody in his mind. But this man chooses to be on his own and not give a fuck about standards in life. He is a man of his own agenda, and his name is Jones Flint. But soon, very soon, something is going to happen to Jones that will completely change him and make him even more dark and moody than ever before. While maintaining his pace, Jones starts thinking about his upbringing. When he was young, Jones's father was a drunkard and an abuser to him and his poor mother. On many horrifying nights, when Jones' father would come home drunk, either Jones or his mother would get a severe beating with an old belt. Jones's only hope was his mother. But once his mother died to a severe sickness, Jones was all alone. And as Jones got into his teen years, he started to experiment with drugs. But one night, Jones's father found out that Jones was using drugs to calm his nerves. And of course, Jones's father began to beat him. But this time, Jones had finally had enough of this bullshit that this asshole father was inflicting. Jones then fought back and beat up his father with his bare fist and nearly killed him. Once teaching his father a lesson in pain and misery, Jones left home and went to go live in the big city of London. That was when Jones was only 24. Jones is now 35. Jones, while thinking all about this, his young and troubled life, stomped out and finished his cigarette. Jones then gave off a low and sad sigh and continued to walk on his way home. It was now midnight, and the fog was getting very thick now, as well as the cold getting very nippy. Jones was also very tired at this point, so he was not paying much attention to his surroundings. Jones walked a long way back to his apartment and was about to go through the gate inside. It was at this point, however, that Jones sensed something. Senses came to him, when he felt like something was watching him from behind. "Who the fuck is out there?" Jones growled with his fists clenched, ready to fight. "Come on, show yourself." Finally, a tall, dark figure with long black hair, dark demonic eyes, and pale skin came out of the dark corner of an alleyway. The figure was about as tall as Jones's height but the thing that shocked Jones the most was that this man had a crazed look about him, especially because the crazed man had a lumberjack axe in his hand. "What the fuck?" Jones thought to himself in shock and horror. The crazed man said in a dark and evil tone, saying, "Can I ask you a question or two?" "Fuck off right there before I call the cops, freak," Jones said as he began to open the gate to the apartment. But then all hell broke loose. The crazed man rushed at Jones with unnatural speed for any human and chopped off Jones' right arm completely. Jones screamed in bloody murder and pain as blood sprayed on him, the crazed man, and the ground as well. And before Jones knew it, he had blacked out completely as the crazed man walked away with the now bloodied axe in his hand. When Jones awoke, he was in the hospital's emergency room. Somehow, though, Jones had surprisingly survived losing a large amount of blood in his body. Soon enough, the operation was all over. Jones had completely lost his right arm, and to make matters worse, this arm was his dominant arm. Jones now felt darker and gloomier than ever before. Just to make sure that Jones would not be all right, the doctors and nurses kept him in the hospital for a good week or so, and Jones was healing, but only physically. not emotionally. Because every single night with that ever since that night with the crazed man, Jones kept having bloody and gory nightmares of the crazed man chasing him down endlessly to his death. After 2 weeks at the hospital, the doctors gave Jones a prosthetic arm to replace the arm he had lost. Once Jones was finally in the comfort of his home, he somewhat calmed down a bit, even more so when he was drinking whiskey or smoking weed. Jones even eventually got used to his arm that he had gotten, but despite Jones getting better to health, he still had that burning image of the crazed man in his head. Either the thoughts of the crazed man made Jones be fearful or made him be rageful. But more than that, Jones had these thoughts, but the more that Jones had these thoughts in his head, his head in his mind, his soul, his heart, the less he became afraid and more rageful. Soon enough, it was time to teach that crazed motherfucker a lesson in pain and misery, just like how Jones did to his fucking hateful father many years ago. After getting souped up on some weed and listening to the grunge rock band It Ain't Like That by the grunge rock band Alice in Chains, Jones grabbed an axe from the apartment's basement and headed out yet on another cold, foggy, and dark night in London. Once walking the streets, while keeping outside of the cops, for the bastards would quickly take question for him, carrying an axe in his hand, Jones thought as he walked the dark shadows of the city of where a crazed person would go to hide to try not get caught by the police. Jones then decided to go to the very poor and very bad part of London, a part of London where many criminals and murderers would go to hide. Once in this part of London, Jones just leaned himself up against a wall and looked back and forth, waiting for that crazed fucker to cross his pathway. Jones then heard some maniacal laughter come from a dark corner from one of the streets, and to Jones' hateful belief, it was that crazed man in the flesh. It was now or never to either murder this son of a bitch who crippled him severely or die fucking trying. At this point, the crazed man was walking right by Jones. Then Jones said aloud in a dark and angry voice, "So, you thought by cutting off my arm that one of my arms that I would die from it, the shock of it all. Well, you are dead wrong, pal." The crazed man then stopped at his laughing and realized what was going on. The crazed man was now fucked. Jones lashed right out of the side of the wall that he was leaning up against a second ago, and knocked down the crazy man with a solid steel-like fist to the face. The crazed man got hit so hard that he got a few bloody teeth fly out from his mouth, as well as a black eye and a bloody nose. Jones was about to slam the axe down on the crazy man, but the crazy man got up to his feet like lightning and grabbed onto the axe that Jones was holding. The two rageful and out-of-control men struggled to overpower one another to get a hold of the axe and use it on whoever let go first. Jones was getting tired, very tired, but kept fighting till the end, till the bitter fucking end. Finally, Jones had enough of this outrage. Jones then punched the crazy man hard in the gut, making him fall to the ground flat. With the crazy man out of breath and energy, Jones proceeded to make the final blow. Jones then used his axe to chop off the crazed man's right arm, as the crazed man did to him. Blood sprayed out on Jones' face as he licked his lips of blood on them. But Jones was not yet done with his revenge. Jones then cut the crazy man's other arm off, then his leg, then his other leg. At last, all that remained of the crazed man was his head. At this point, the crazed man was bawling his eyes out with tears of pain and horror. Jones said in a dark and evil tone to the crazed man, saying, "You should have killed me when you had cut my dominant arm off, but you hesitated, and now you shall pay the price for that grave mistake. So have fun playing with Satan in hell, because that's where you're going. So then, lights out, motherfucker." Jones then slammed the axe down on the crazed man's head, chopping it clean off like the guillotine of the days of old punishment. By the time the murder was all done and over with, the whole fight was area was all covered with blood and flesh. As for Jones, he was finally relieved that his monstrous nightmare was all over. Jones even grabbed the now dead crazed man's head and kept it as a souvenir for his bloody and gory victory. To this day, Jones still has that head of the crazed man right on his shelf to see every day and every night. And what else? Over the years, Jones had collected many more heads from criminals and murderers alike. So be warned, if you are a crook waiting to start terror and mayhem, think again, for you might end up getting your head chopped off by none other than Jones Flint himself. The end.